Okay, so welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah.
Do the drill. We're going deep on a text you sent our way.
This time we're looking at Psalm 79 from the New Living Translation.
Yeah, and this one's intense. It's like a raw nerve,
Mm.
exposed and pulsing with this cry for help and this longing for justice in the middle of like a total meltdown. It's heavy stuff.
Really is. And what we want to do today is unpack this ancient poem together and see if we can hear what it whispers to us about getting through really tough times and clinging on to hope when everything seems lost. You know? Does that resonate at all with where you're at right now?
I think so. I mean, right off the bat, the first few verses just hit you with this overwhelming sense of devastation. It's not just a setback, it's a full-on collapse.
Yeah, like it's not just an invasion or a raid. This is complete takeover. Pagan nations have overrun everything.
And the temple, the heart of their faith and cultural identity, it's defiled.
Right.
Ruined Jerusalem's just a pile of rubble.
And that image of the temple being violated, that's more than just losing a building. It's like this gaping spiritual wound.
Absolutely. And then you get to verses 2 and 3, and the imagery is just brutal. Unburied bodies, flesh left for scavengers, blood flowing like water. It's a picture of utter powerlessness, like every shred of dignity has been stripped away.
It's a lot to take in. Even reading it thousands of years later, it evokes this visceral reaction.
It does. And it makes you think about those things we hold sacred, the things that define who we are. What happens when those are violated? Where do you even begin to process that kind of pain? Where do you turn?
And that's where that desperate cry for divine intervention kicks in, right? It's all over this psalm, this repeated plea.
Yeah, how long will you be angry with us? Help us, O God of our salvation. It's like this primal scream.
Totally. And I think that raw honesty is important. It's not just about needing rescue from outside. It's about recognizing those moments where we're just at the end of our rope, admitting we can't handle it on our own.
It's that human moment of reaching out beyond yourself. Because what else can you do when you're facing something so huge, so overwhelming?
And then to add insult to injury, you've got that element of mockery and scorn from their neighbors in verse 4. It's not enough to be suffering. They're being ridiculed for it, too.
Yeah, it's like the whole world's against them. It's one thing to struggle, but then to have people looking down on you, judging you for it.
It makes you wonder, how often does that happen in our own lives? How often do we experience that added layer of shame when we're going through tough times? It's like that question in verse 10, where is their God? It's the ultimate taunt, the feeling of being abandoned by everyone, even by what you believe in.
And in those moments, how do you hold on to your faith? How do you hold on to any shred of hope or inner strength when you're dealing not just with the hardship itself, but with the critical eyes and the judgments of everyone around you?
It's a heavy burden for sure. And what's really interesting is that within this psalm, this desperate plea, there's this fascinating push and pull, this inner tension.
Yeah, you see it on one hand, this very human desire for justice, this rage even, this need to see those who cause this pain experience it themselves.
Right there in verses 6 and 7, pour out your wrath on the nations that do not acknowledge you. Pay back our neighbors 7 times for the wrong they have done to you. It's that gut reaction. You hurt me now, I want you to hurt.
But then, right alongside that anger, you see this plea for compassion. This recognition of their own vulnerability and need for forgiveness. Do not hold us guilty for the sins of our ancestors. Let your compassion quickly meet our needs, for we are on the brink of despair.
So it brings up this really interesting question. Can you genuinely want justice while also acknowledging your own deep need for mercy? Can you hold those two things at the same time?
I don't know. It's like a balancing act.
Yeah.
And even amidst all this anguish, the call for revenge, the psalm ends on this note of hope. Then we, your people, the sheep of your pasture, will thank you for ever and ever praising your greatness from generation to generation.
And it's almost jarring how that hope pops up right there at the end. Even when they're surrounded by ruin and despair, there's this underlying faith, this stubborn expectation of future deliverance. It's like a tiny ember refusing to go out.
It really speaks to the resilience of the human spirit. This belief that even when things are at their darkest, there's still something worth holding on to.
And I think that's a really good question to leave you with. What are those anchors for you? What are those things that sustain your hope during those challenging times? What keeps that ember burning for you?
So much to think about in this short but powerful psalm. Right? We've gone from utter destruction to a desperate cry for help. From the sting of mockery to that struggle between wanting justice and needing mercy. And ultimately, this persistent whisper of hope for a brighter future.
And I guess the takeaway here is that even though this poem was written thousands of years ago in response to a specific historical event, it still speaks volumes about our shared human experience, this universal experience of suffering and searching for comfort and that deep longing for things to be made right.
So as you go about your day, Think about that.
Yeah.
What echoes of this ancient psalm do you hear in your own life today?
Where do you see those same struggles playing out? And maybe more importantly, where do you find those glimmers of hope, those anchors that keep you going when things get tough?
Yeah, it's a question worth pondering.
Mm.
And we'll leave you with that for now. Thanks for joining us on another deep dive.
Until next time.